Okay, in this tutorial, we're going to take this template and turn it into a fictional design for a local family bakery. And I've jumped over to ChatGPT and I've already put all the settings out there. So we've got some good content here to lay out in our homepage. I'm just going to ask for it to give me fictional addresses and contact details. And we're going to demo SquareForge and build up a homepage design section by section and just show how quick it is to populate that. So I'm hoping to be done and dusted within about 20 minutes, give or take. I've also created a color palette here. Normally when we're working with real projects, we'll have the color palette, we'll have the logo, and we'll have the font selection, but we're going to wing it a bit in this tutorial. So I'm going to click edit and jump into Squarespace. And the first thing we're going to do is actually remove the footer sections that we don't want. So click in there once and we can see now that we can remove them one at a time. In our footer, we're going to want to have a map, maybe a photo, and opening hours and contact details. So I think we'll go with this one here. We can tweak it if we want to. What I'm going to do now is just remove the ones that I don't want and leave the section that I do. This is probably the most repetitive job we're going to have in the entire process. One thing we can't do at the present with Squarespace is save a section as a favorite. I'm not going to upload a logo. We're just going to use a font in this case. So I'm just going to remove that and we're going to update these details afterwards. Okay. So now we've got our footer in place. There's a bit of extra spacing here that I don't want. For now, I'm just going to click on edit section and we're going to remove the fill screen option. That should get rid of the extra spacing around it. If it doesn't, it may just need a full refresh. There's a little bug there in the system. But what we're going to move on to now is the color palette. So I'm going to go to Site Styles, click on our colors here. We can see it's monochromatic. We've got some options here that we could choose. One thing that's important is we go from light to dark. So we've got the lightest options on the left and the darkest, therefore, as you would expect, on the right. We're going to instead customize this and we're going to have more control over how it looks. So this is where I'm going to bring the palette forward and we can see the lightest options here. I've got a ColorZilla Chrome extension. This is on Chrome, but it also is available on Firefox. And I'm selected those colors. So I'm going to leave the one to the left as white. I'm happy with that. And I'm just going to copy and paste my colors. So what this does is it copies the hexadecimal values for the colors. And what we're doing is we're going from lightest to darkest. So I've got a decision to make now. I can either add this one and leave out the burgundy color or the red color. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I like to have minimal color options. So what I might do is just make this one a little bit lighter so there's more differentiation between that and the color across from it. We can see it's got a hint of blue in that color, which is quite nice. So we'll keep that. And we're going to go back and we're going to select the darkest color now, which I really like, which will replace the jet black that was in the original SquareForge layout. If you are new to SquareForge, you don't know what it is, it's a rapid template builder for Squarespace that I've built over the past 12 months, but it's based on concepts we've been using for a lot longer than that. It allows us to go through and build Squarespace websites 30 to 40% faster in some instances, as I'm hoping to demo today. Now we've got our color palette in place. Actually, let's just choose the font selection as well. So I'm probably going to choose a font pack. I think I'm going to go for this one here. Because it's going to be for a family bakery, we want it with quite a friendly, approachable font selection. And we're going to go with serif fonts, like a modern serif font for the headings, and then a sans serif font without all of the funny little details for the paragraph content. Press save. Now our color palette and our font selection are in place. Now we can go and look at the different content structures. And in fact, what I'll do is I'll bring up squareforge.net so we can see them before we change the colors and the fonts to start with. So we can see here we've got different hero designs that we can use. So hero sections are our big billboards or banners at the top of our website. And we can save these as favorites and then bring them into our homepage design. So something like this, where we could put a full background photo behind it. And it's just got a nice introductory section. We've got the centrally aligned option there, but there's loads to choose from. We've got it broken down into loads of different options. There's over 300 templates that we can use and adapt to our own requirements from here. Everything from membership tables through to signposts, contact blocks, content blocks, pretty much everything you need to build websites quickly. And they're all tested and working on mobile. So this is how they look on the default option, deliberately monochromatic. We changed the color of this section here to match your brand. So when you're reusing it multiple times, It just feels like what you need. This option here has the triangle image, but there's loads of options we can choose from. We can find them in the Not Linked section on our menu. They're all in folders, so let's have a look at the Hero Classic, for example. And now we can see it's got our color palette. So the color palette and the contrast may not work based on the changes we've made, but we can already see it's looking more individual. We've got this nice serif font here for the heading, and then sans serif for paragraph and buttons. If I go to full screen, it's now a case of finding one that I think will do the job nicely for what we want. So I'm going to be using stock photos for this. I think I'm going to go with this. So we'll go a photo on the right here and then just a grid block behind, or just a solid block behind the title. The reason I'm seeing this is for the Square Websites Chrome extension, which is a fantastic, really handy tool that allows us to copy and paste sections from one to another. It's available if you head over to Pixelate Academy. We've got a full dedicated section on Square Websites plugins, which we partner with, and they're great. For now, I'm going to disable that extension just so we don't have any confusion when we're using it. Sorry, guys. Once again, though, great selection of plugins, and the Chrome extension has saved me hours of time, and it's ideal if you're a pro user of Squarespace and are on it every day like me. But now we're going to go to this section, and I'm going to click on this little heart icon, and that will save it to our favorites. And what I'm going to do now is just go through the options here. And we've got 4 signposts. We've got a section with an intro paragraph, and we've got our hero section, which we've just saved. So let's go back to pages, and now let's have a look at some content blocks. I'll expand this section, and we want a short content block, and something like this will probably be exactly what we need. We might even go with this one, which has got a little thumbnail image as well. So I'll save that. We're going to need some testimonials, and we're going to need some signposts. So I can just collapse these folders when we're done with them. And we're going to go with signpost for column plus. So I'll go with the classic option first, see what's available to us. That's quite nice. We could put photos in behind each of these signposts. I want to go for a nice image-heavy design. This could work really nicely too. Definitely want to go with something with images. Or we've got the option to put in 4 large image blocks with a 2-and-2 layout. Decisions. Let's go with this option here. So I click Edit. We can see when we go to full screen, these 2 images go to full width, which is quite a nice effect. So we're going to go with that. We're going to exit out of that. And we've got to get our testimonials. And I think we're about done then. Well, in fact, there will be a card option we need to choose. So the testimonials are under quotes. So let's go with a 3+. And we can go with this one, I think. Or maybe this one here. Yeah, we're going to go with this one here. We can see there's a little animation behind it. And we'll save that testimonial block as a favorite. If any of the layouts are a little bit fiddly, it's usually the testimonials when using SquareForge. I don't know why. When we save them as favorites, sometimes we've got to go into it a couple of times and just give it a bit of a shake for it to work. Okay, nearly there. There is one final option though. I wanted to put in a section that breaks down the step-by-step guide to how the baking process works. So what we're going to need to do is find a content block that would work for that. And I've got just the idea. Go to signposts and go to cards. So we could look at this. Or we could go into content benefits, which is another way of laying out this type of content. This could be quite nice. We could upload an individual icon with each of these. I don't have the icons available, so we might have to just skip that process and use our imagination a bit that we're going to put an icon set that we could build really easily in Canva. In fact, I might even do a tutorial showing how we can build those icons and finish this off using Canva. So there we go. We've saved that one. Got 6 options in, 6 steps in the content created, so that's good. And let's head over to our home page and start building this out. So I click Edit. Now we're going to add a section. I'm going to go to Saved Sections. I'm going to start from the bottom and work up. If I thought about it, I would have put the content in reverse maybe. I think I'm going to put the benefits above the testimonials. Because we've got this section here with the short introduction, I think we're going to bring the signposting up. And I'm really liking that color palette. It's just nice and minimal. So let's save that and now start bringing our content in. So we're going to start with the title. Of course, in most cases, we'd recommend a client goes through the process of having a professional logo. It does make a difference. I called it Castle Bakery, didn't I? Could have just typed that. One thing we're not going to look at today is the navigation. But to build up a menu navigation, we can add pages to this menu here. All of our forge layouts are in the not linked section, so they don't interfere with the website itself. Apart from this page here, which is linked by a button, and that's updatable via the masthead section, or the site header as Squarespace calls it here. So the first thing we can see is that the titles don't work really well when they're all caps, or certainly not my preferred choice for this type of content. So we're going to go with something really simple, freshly baked bread. I'm going to go with a heading 1. And I've got the option here to edit it. I could make it full width. Expand the text to the container width to do something a bit different. I think we'll go with that. Something a bit different. Maybe adjust the line height, but yeah, I think we'll go with that. So what will happen sometimes is when we go with larger font, it will just expand the container. So we just need to do a little bit of adjusting to get that back. And if we're looking at needing more even spacing, terrible. If we're looking at getting the spacing balance between these sections, we can play around with this with the alignment option on this line here. Okay, I think we'll go with that. Maybe even go one more width and go with a really bold, striking heading. Yeah. We'll settle for that because we're on limited time and I want to get this wrapped up within the next 10 minutes or so. Now we're going to replace this image and we're going to search for free stock images. And I'm just going to search for bakery. I'm just going to go for this one here, product front and center, but it's also got a human element. That could be the owner of this fictional business. Now we're going to put our tagline in place. So we go back to ChatGPT and that's very cheesy, but we'll go with it. Select all and paste. And from here, we can maybe change the paragraph size to make it a little bit bigger. Maybe even drop it to center of the line. So we've got roughly even spacing above and below that line. We'll need to go over to mobile in a bit and fix that because some of the changes we made will have adjusted it a little bit. But overall, I'm quite happy with that as our hero. We could do something completely different with this side here. For example, we could go to change it to a shape and circle being the most popular. Squarespace could definitely do more with these shapes, give us more options to work with. We can go with that option there, but actually I'm going to keep it to the square and set it to fill the frame. And now we're going to move on to our next section. Here, even though I like the colors, of course, this will not come out like this because we're going to be swapping these with photos. In SquareForge, I've put photos as solid block colors just because it makes it easier for you to imagine what you want in place. Sometimes with strong photos, it can sway your decision making a little bit too much. Just going to check what the signposts are. So here I want people in this one because it's our story. I think we'll go with that one. And we can see we've got a challenge here already. So I could go for an overlay on each of the images. And I'm definitely going to do that. And we'll go for the darkest color on the overlay. And then we just bring back the opacity so we can see it clearly enough. We could try it with the gold color. I think I'll do that and then change the color of the section. So if we go to edit section here, and we can see it's one of the darkest options. If we go to the lightest, the text then goes to darker. but it's always a trade-off. And we might have to increase that overlay to give it the impact it needs. For me, I would probably edit this photo. I would take the saturation right down, so it's a black and white photo, bring the contrast up, and probably the brightness down. Because when we add the overlay now, there'll be more clarity on the image behind, and it blends better with the layout. And we can adjust it then. This used to be very popular in graphic design. It's kind of gone by the wayside in terms of having watermarked images behind, but it still can have a place when worked properly. So let's do the same now with this section here. Have a look at the content for this section, which is menu. I'm just going to search for menu here. It probably won't be right. So now we set a precedent with this one. We're going to need to go into edit this photo and the same approach. Take the saturation to black and white. Make sure it's got good contrast and just darken the whole photo. So when we put the gold overlay on top of it, it fits. And we can just adjust it by eye. So if I go to design, overlay, change it to our gold color, and bring this back so it fits with this one here. Another option, of course, we can just check by eye in terms of the positioning on this one and make sure they match. But I'm quite happy with that. There seems to be a nice flow from one section to the next. The challenge we got here is finding photos that have red. This is the free stock library that's got a little plugin directly into Squarespace, which is nice. I think we'll go with the croissants. Yeah, my 20 minutes was a little optimistic. See if there's anything for Brecon, maybe the Brecon beacons or something like that, which could be quite nice. I think we'll go with this photo here, showing the rural location for the bakery. I could go in and crop each of the photos so that they take a smaller file size, because it's only showing the ratio of the photo, but I think I'm fine with that. Gives us more flexibility if I stick with the original than this design. Obviously, we need to change the text. I'm going to save that and jump out of it, back into it, just because I'm paranoid about potentially losing connection and then losing all of that we've just done, which I probably would cry. And now we've got this section looking quite nice. Let's just change this text quickly. So we go back here. So what I tend to do is just select the text after the first character, and then remove the first character afterwards, then jump through each of the options. So hopefully we'll get this to fit on one line throughout. The only thing is it's just moved everything up, which is a pain. But we can move it back manually. So if I paste it without selecting the first character, we can see we've lost the first character. So we're just going to paste that in again. So that's one option. We could just bring it all down, which will save us a bit of time, and then just select the background image and move that back up afterwards. And that's fitting onto one line, at least when this is full width. Go to Visit Us now. Select everything after the first character. And before I start doing any more adjustments, I'm going to put in the placeholder text for the paragraph section. I'm going to speed this up now just so you don't have to sit and watch this. Okay, a little bit of formatting there, but we're now done, so I can save it once more. We'll use this as a heading. Again, same format, paste it after the first. And I'll probably start the paragraph with that. Should have done the same thing. We'll put this as the start of a sentence. I know that's not grammatically correct, but this is just placeholder content. So what I can do here is put this to a paragraph 1, just so we can go into the content that little bit easier. And here we can bring in another bakery photo. We'll go with this photo, just to offer something a bit different. So we've got some options here. We can go into the design settings. I'm going to set this to fill, just to fill that layout. And what I'm also going to do is move this and make sure the text is centrally aligned so it fits with that image. Or another option, we can actually make the image a little bit smaller, which I might go for. So what I could do here is go for more like a 4:3 photo instead of perfectly square. Alternatively, I can bring it in. And I'm going to edit the section, and now let's adjust the gaps. So I'm going to go with a 30 pixel gutter between those sections. And I can adjust the gutter height to get it so it looks relatively square. Now I can set this back to center, and that works quite nice. So I'm happy with that. We've got nice equidistant spacing. Okay. I don't think I'm going to change the testimonials in this one. It's more copy and paste, and I don't think we need to worry about that. Likewise with the key benefits. Again, it's easier just to entering after the first character. Remove that section. We can bring this up then. And now it would be a case of just copying and pasting that content across, which again, I don't think I need to worry about this one. What I am going to do though is just put another photo in here. I will go through and just put in the remainder of the content. In fact, we'll probably sell this as a template on our store, but if you've got SquareForge, you don't need to worry about that. And I'm going to change the color of this footer section as well. Maybe, I don't know, not sure. Okay, we now have the outline structure of our template converted using SquareForge, and there'll be a few changes I would make with a little bit more time. But in just over half an hour or so, I've been able to get a look and feel that translates well across the site. We've got some elements that break it out of the Squarespace template and look unique, which I quite like. I think this section here, I'd probably get rid of the white lines. So this might just tweak it a little bit. Yeah, so I'd have to go through now and just change the colors back, which is a bit of a pain, but it gives me those darker lines in between each of the sections. What I'm going to do instead is add a block, a shape behind it, because this will stop us from having to redo everything. So I'm going to drag it in front to start with, across the full section. And we're going to change the color to the darkest color. Just click off it and back on, and now we can move it right the way to the back. Just keep clicking it until that goes grayed out. And now we've added the block in behind, but we will have to fix this and go through the entire site on mobile view for the changes that we made. But there we go. Our new fictional website. Hope you found this helpful. With SquareForge, there's limitless possibilities. That's why we use it in-house for all of our projects. And that's also why we try to keep it as low a cost as we can, so to get you up and running. To get using SquareForge, you've got two options. You can either join our Pixel Haze coaching community over on SKOOL with a K, and you get not only SquareForge, but any future upgrades as part of your membership. Or you can purchase it via squareforge.net for $297. But just bear in mind that if you sign up for 3 months on the community, you get SquareForge for free for those months. Once you purchase SquareForge once, you can reuse the template builder and duplicate it as many times as you want. And I've got startup tutorials to show you how to do exactly that. And we've really tried to make it as great value as possible. I'd love to hear what you think. Leave some comments. Would you have taken this design in this direction, or would you have tried something different? Also, have you been using SquareForge? And love to hear how you're getting on. I'm hoping to do a couple more of these tutorials with fictional designs in different industries, just so we can get a feel for how it all clicks together. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time.